What's up, guys? This is episode 1 of my first podcast called Pilley Talk, where we talk about anything related to health, fitness, or nutrition. And I'm here with Zach today. Zach, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, man.
So Zach Pritchett, native of South Carolina, from Greenville, South Carolina. I went to the Citadel back in the day, and I've been playing rugby for a long time.
That's awesome.
Had a lot of injuries, and that's kind of like shaped my path through life. Done a lot of different things career-wise. Right now, I'm kind of in the spot here in Charleston, managing big work. Teach yoga classes throughout Charleston, and then I also do some personal training too.
That's awesome, man. So it sounds like you got a lot on your plate, huh?
Yeah, just staying busy, doing what I love.
Yeah. How's it been managing the gym?
It's been fun. I've been in it for a couple weeks now.
Really?
But I love this place. I've been training here for years. This is where I did my rehab after my second hip surgery.
Okay.
And it's a great place. There's amazing people that come here every day, and
everything happens for a reason sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love this environment.
Yeah.
It's a fun location too.
No, it's super cool.
Yeah, we get some good south-facing sun out here. So
we do.
Yeah.
You guys gotta check it out. Ever come by Big Works? But I'm gonna hit you with a quick question.
All right.
Would you rather fight 1 horse-sized duck or 50 duck-sized horses?
Okay, so I'm either fighting a horse-sized duck or 50
duck-sized horses. Think about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the duck-sized horses because I think ducks are badass already, and if they're the size of a horse, it's gonna fuck me up immediately. So I'm gonna take the horses. I'm gonna take my chance with the horses. Hopefully, I have some weapons I can use. I think I can. If I get a good mace or something like that, I think I could just knock out all those horses.
Just go through them all.
Just go through them one swing at a time. Knock them out.
I don't know. They're pretty fast, though, I'd say.
They are fast.
Fast.
Yeah, but
do you think they'd have the same stamina or the speed of a horse?
Yeah, probably. I'm hoping not. But I don't know. I'm ready to find out.
Dang, man, that's pretty crazy. Well, I know you went to the Citadel and you played rugby there. Yep. And now your yoga is obviously one of your professions. Mm-hmm. I wanted to know, that's for people who don't know, that's obviously such a big difference. How did you kind of get in that transition from going from being obviously a hardcore rugby player, and Citadel's a military school. You obviously had a lot of discipline there, and then how did you kind of make that transition into now being a yoga instructor and being very passionate about it?
Yeah, so yoga was not something I practiced or knew much about the rest of my life. It was rugby, it was weightlifting, it was running, really high intensity type of things, and then going to a military college, not a lot of mindfulness yoga happening there, but at least I didn't think so. But in reality, there was this underlying sort of yogic mindset that I had at the Citadel of kind of being present and calm in the face of adversity. I had that. I learned that, which transferred over into the yoga practice and yoga teaching. And then even on the rugby field, I had this, was able to develop this ability to be calm throughout the game and be level-headed and see the bigger picture during the moment. Okay. Which was, allowed me to be a better rugby player for myself and my team. And that's a very yogic mindset too. So I think I was kind of already practicing it for most of my life. And then I finally, found the right teacher, and it kind of opened up my eyes to how powerful yoga can be. Right, you've experienced it a few times, and it's just for me, yoga is about just that one time. Right, it's not about I need to sign up for this monthly membership. It's just practice it once.
Yeah, exactly.
And then maybe practice it the next day.
Yeah, definitely.
And that will carry over into your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously so good for your mind and your body, and just control. I mean, especially injuries. You mentioned that was a huge thing with helping your hip surgery.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, that's kind of how I came into the physical vinyasa practice of yoga.
Yeah. I mean, I've had 3 knee surgeries myself when I was in high school, and I'd be lying if I didn't say the more I do the little mobility movements or the yoga kind of form, or even in your class that I had the honor of taking a couple of days ago, I can just feel kind of less soreness. I feel more opened a little bit, more mobility. And
well, there's a lot from the physical side of yoga. There's a lot. It's amazing. There's these. I mean, it's been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
thousands of years at least, and these ancient practices that have worked forever, these movement patterns that have worked forever, and so why not continue to use them? And you start to see it when you start to study other movement practices and strength and conditioning. The modern things are just, you can find those end ranges and those movement patterns in traditional yoga. But it's more than that. To me, yoga is like the breath and this ability to be present.
Right? Like the mindfulness. And
it's connection. That's yoga to me, is like this just ability to be present and return to your breath, and you can access that anytime. But it's the physical practice brings us there. Most of us arrive at that ability through the physical practice. We need that. We need that, like, right? You experience that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for like, all those heavy lifters out there, and like the amount of strain that you're putting on your body and your joints and your muscles. It makes sense.
It's a good way to be like very intentional about your breath and your movement.
Yeah, definitely. Is there like any like specific like yoga movements or ways of practicing it that kind of hit the brain like neurologically in certain areas?
Yeah, I mean, like a sort of like the textbook thing is like coming into the parasympathetic nervous system, right? And we do that by like calming our breath and controlling our breath through simple mindful movements. So for me, like that, it was my first experience with yoga was yin yoga, right? And it's like things like coming into a pigeon pose and holding it there, right? And just being intentional with your breath. For me, that was like super powerful, coming from a very like high intensity lifting background. So I would say, for people like us, or people like, guys at the gym here that work out a lot, developing a yin style of yoga practice can be really powerful.
Definitely.
Long held poses and breathing.
Yeah, it's been great. And you just have loved it ever since, and you haven't looked back.
Yeah, it's great, man. I love it.
Yeah. I feel like it not only does it help you so much injury wise, but it helps you look at the world differently and more of like an optimistic version, or
exactly. I think that's I'm glad you brought that up, because I mean that's part of it. It's seeing the light in everybody else, and realizing that there is this abundance of opportunity out there for everybody. Definitely. So why not grow together?
Yeah, all that kind of mindfulness stuff, like in my eyes, plays a role in how you view the world. Like not only has when I've been dabbling with yoga a lot more, but even like indulging myself in my faith more, it kind of almost like did a whole 180 with how I view people, how I view the world, and that kind of aspect. It's kind of crazy, and once you start, it's like you just want to keep learning more about it. It makes you obsessed with it, and then you almost become very passionate about it for people who are like, that's what they want to do.
Yeah, it's funny. My teacher Timmy, I remember her talking about this early on. It's like yoga will ruin your life. That's what she says.
Changes your mindset. That's a great way to put it.
A funny way to put it. I wouldn't say ruin, but
I like that. So you got into yoga from your hip surgery, right?
Kind of, yeah.
That was definitely like a big like factor that like kind of got you into it, though.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like directly like hip surgery yoga. Just like I've had some hip surgeries, had a really tough time through a lot of injuries.
How'd that happen? The injury?
This hip injury? Yeah. So this was 2018. I was playing rugby in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we were playing against the team in Dallas. And so we were down in Dallas. I was playing rugby. Just got tackled the wrong way, landed on my knee, and my femur popped out of my hip socket, and it was lodged behind my glute.
That's terrible.
So they couldn't just pop it back in. They had to like slice me open here and basically do an open reduction. So they like took the femoral head, popped it back in, repaired some of the iliopsoas group that was torn, and then I had a long recovery after that.
Yeah, but you would say like I think like without the use of yoga, like you'd definitely be in a worse position than you are now. Like it's definitely it helps to open up more.
Maybe.
Or
maybe.
just like
I think mindset.
But not
more than anything.
Exactly. And I mean, something I've like become a true believer in is like your mindset is a huge part in recovery. And it's kind of almost like manifestation or like the subconscious that almost really you really tap into it. You can like it's crazy what some things you can do in my eyes.
It's true.
Super cool. So I mean, with my knee surgeries, man, it's just like that myth or whatever they say is like you feel the pressure from the rain and all that.
Yeah.
It's funny how all that works, and it's crazy, man. But I definitely
Yeah.
would say like all the yoga and movements that have started, it's been easing up, and the cool movements, stretching that you showed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I definitely, I'd be lying if I didn't say I go home and I'm on my floor and like training it a little bit and
Okay.
getting loosened up and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, you like I know you like pigeon stretches and
Yeah,
pigeon strength.
the weighted pigeon
Yeah.
has been a huge factor in really getting my IT because my main thing
Yeah.
is not IT bands,
Yeah.
That's like especially with knees and soccer players growing up. 'Cause I
Yeah,
played soccer
knees.
my whole life.
Yeah, I mean it's just all like, the body works together as a whole, right? So it's
Yeah.
like knee problems, you need strong hips.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
the things that I've like learned is like the more you work on your hips and open up your hips, the easier it is on your knees.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What's your like favorite like yoga position?
All right, brother. For me,
Yeah.
headstand. Absolutely.
Headstand.
Yeah,
That's your thing.
headstand.
Can
Yeah.
we see one real quick?
Sure. You want to try one too?
All right, I'll try one.
All
All
right.
right, you try it out first.
Headstand.
Yeah.
So there's a couple different ways to do headstand, right? Traditionally, we're gonna go headstand's gonna be in here with our hands locked in. A lot of people like to start with tripod headstand, but I really love coming into a headstand traditionally like this.
Yeah.
And then once you find this ability to just stack everything on top of each other, right?
It's killer.
You can really just sit here and breathe and hang out for a pretty long time.
You meditate like that?
I would consider this to be a shortcut towards meditation. Absolutely.
Amazing.
Because usually, I mean, when you're doing something where you're upside down and inverted,
Yeah.
you have to be in the present moment.
No, definitely.
I mean, you have to be. Yeah. If I'm not, then maybe I can get hurt.
Look at this guy. He's talking on the podcast and doing his movement at the same time. It's crazy.
Try one out right now.
Yeah, I'll try it out.
So
right,
let's start off. Let's start off in tripod headstand. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll kind of get you through this. So you're gonna go like hands, vinyasa hands, right? So it's gonna be, and let's angle this way, like straight there, so you can kind of have a little more evenness. So vinyasa hands. So bring those hands a little bit wider. Right? Is that where you do your vinyasas at? Right there, that hand placement. Great. So then you're gonna take your crown of your head.
Yeah.
Crown of the head, and drop it in front of your hands.
Like this?
Yeah, maybe a little bit further in front, right? So keep pressing through your hands here, right?
Okay.
And then start to straighten out your knees and walk your feet in a little bit. So you're trying to find a way to stack your hips over your head. Now bring one knee on top of one tricep. Place it there, point your toes. And now, slow as you can, bring the other knee on top of the other tricep. Point the toes. Now start to bring your feet together here. There's your headstand. So from here, can you float your knees up? And then bring them back down to your knees. Bring them back down. There's the headstand. Yep. See if you can keep those feet up here while finding some extension through the hips. And now come back down super slow. Knees back down onto the triceps. Yes. There it is. Okay. Going for 2. Yep.
That's crazy.
Nice, man. It's good control.
Thanks.
Yeah.
My neck is a little stiff, but
yeah. So you gotta make sure that like when you're doing movements like that, is keep 30%, 30 whatever, a third of the weight in both hands too. Yeah. Right.
It's awesome.
Eventually, you'll find a way where you can like stack more weight on the head, but yeah. Right now, hands. Use your hands. They're there for a reason.
All right.
Protect yourself. Protect your neck.
Sweet, yeah, man. I mean, I already had the ACL surgery. Can't forget about my neck. Man.
Yeah, watch your neck.
That was nice though, dude. I love the gym here. How like we can just be out in the sun.
Yeah.
And
well, people think of like a gym like this as like that. Maybe it might look intimidating from the outside looking in. But this is the true definition of a judgment-free zone. You really can do whatever you want here. Yeah. And nobody will judge you, and they'll be supportive. I don't think there's another gym that matches that energy like that. Right?
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, I've been here for 2.5 years, and my experience here has been great. I mean, it's kind of like it's almost like you have your own garage gym in your garage,
Sure.
and you can kind of like home make your stuff or your workouts.
Yeah.
There's so many things that you guys just like have like this is the outside, but for no one's just seen the inside. Like it's so cool what you can do in there. Like I've seen so many people do different things, and you guys got some killer lighting in there too.
We have a lot of fun with it. Yeah,
that's great. But yeah, a couple of days ago or yesterday, I think when I came here, I wanted to scratch this off your brain. You have a dog, Eileen, correct?
Yes.
Eileen has 3 legs, right?
She does. Yeah, she has 3
beautiful,
legs.
Beautiful. How old?
Thank you. She's 5 months old.
5 months old.
Yeah.
I was wondering, is there like any like specific reasoning to why you chose Eileen?
Yeah, I mean, my girlfriend Mary has been trying to adopt a dog for like 3 years now, and I've just kind of not said yes to any of the dogs that she sends me every week.
Yeah.
And then she sent me this dog, and she was really fired up about it, Eileen. And she has 3 legs. She's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. So it's like, yes.
It's always
and we
weird.
filled out the paperwork and just immediately actually like met the foster
really
out here. His name's Evan.
Wow.
He's got a big Instagram following in Charleston. He makes really cool videos.
That's super cool, man. It's funny. Like I went home and I like thought about it, and I was like, I just feel like if I had like a 3-legged dog, like it would not only is it adorable, but I feel like I would have no excuse to get up in the morning, no matter what. I would have no excuse to do like a lot of and just like seeing my dog, especially a dog that's 5 months old, just like enjoy, like have the happiest.
Yeah,
she's just so happy.
She gets after. She's so happy. She loves like playing and wrestling with other dogs.
Which makes it work, man.
Yeah, it's great to see, and also like it's kind of like on brand with Mary and myself. Mary works with prosthetics.
Okay.
She builds legs and arms, and then I have a hip that's may or may not be there for the rest of my life.
Yeah, man. Same. Yeah, I was like thinking about it, and obviously,
so it's good to like learn from Eileen.
Yeah, exactly. Like as someone who's had like multiple setbacks themselves, and I was in the shower like thinking this for a while. It's like, well, my knee surgeries, my Crohn's disease, IBD that I've always lived with, my struggle with like mental health. It's just almost seeing them walk around every day. It's like that constant reminder of just like looking at the beauty and everything, or having the optimism no matter what. Like that dog is just like, they have a flaw, but like no matter what, like they're just their best selves.
She doesn't let it hold her back. Like nobody's told her that
resilience is crazy.
Yeah,
this is what the overall message of it.
Also, it's like nobody's like telling her like to hold back.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's a big part of it when we go through these setbacks and injuries. People are feeling sorry for us, and people are giving us these options to, stay at home and rest or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of that mindset.
No, I'm not either.
I think there's always a way.
There is.
And you just got to keep practicing.
No matter what.
Right. I think about that. I think like I've learned that a lot through my yoga practice too. Like I try to have a daily practice. But what happens if you injure your wrist? Like how are you going to have a vinyasa practice if your wrist is injured? Right. There's always a way. You can still make it happen. You just adjust.
Yeah.
And you overcome.
Exactly.
And it's amazing to see stuff like that. People that tear a muscle in their leg, and they still come in here and they figure out a way to do it. Right. Maybe it's just letting that leg rest while you work the rest of your body.
Exactly.
Sometimes I'm not going to say rest is a bad thing always. Sometimes you do need to let your
Everyone's
body
got
recover.
different
But
easily, and everyone definitely has
keep
different
it going.
passions. But
keep moving.
Exactly. For a very average person, right?
Yeah.
You could say that someone puts a lot of effort in their physical health, as in like going to the gym for a year, or at least, or like maybe 6 months, and then you maybe have an injury, or you lose kind of the motivation for it or something, or it's almost like you trick yourself in having this excuse to the point like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't really need to go anymore. Like I can kind of like, I don't have to work around this or anything. But in my eyes, it's just like, maybe you should have been doing something else for the last year instead of going to, does that make sense? It's
maybe.
Like you put in a lot of work for that year, to the point of like, why would you throw that away over one small kind of thing?
Well, I think that like ties into my like ultimately what my mindset is with training for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think this transcends the practice.
Yeah.
It's just like there's like three things, right? One is just like it doesn't matter what you're doing. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just do something you enjoy that you can be consistent with.
Yeah.
Something that you love.
Yeah.
Something that makes you happy, and that you can be consistent with, right? So then that leads into number two, which is we work out, we train for the short-term effects of it, right?
Yeah.
I train so I can feel better today, so I can sleep better tonight, so I can have a better, mental capacity for work and relationships.
Yeah.
And then number three is just stay with that, stay consistent, and then the long-term results will just happen, right? You'll just wake up one day and be like, wow.
I mean, whether it's like 1% tomorrow or 1% at the end of the week, it's just like
chase the short-term benefit of it, and then the long-term will just fall in your lap.
Yeah, totally. No, that's a great.
But when people think in this long-term mindset, they might get frustrated with not seeing results quick enough.
Yeah.
Which is just another yogic mindset of like, just be present, take the actions that you can right now.
Yeah.
And don't be attached to the fruits.
Also, I know a huge part of like something that I think people don't really get a lot when you're like in the gym a lot or trying to see results or progress over time, and like whether you see it quicker or not. Like, how would you relate with your experience, your nutrition or your diet or with food, and how does that help someone see results a lot faster, and how does like cutting out certain things as well?
So nutrition, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, specifically nutrition.
Yeah. Like because you've been pretty much an athlete your whole life, and you have maintained a great physique, and everything you do is based around movement, and I want to say growth, like in every aspect. Is nutrition a big part of your like lifestyle?
Yeah, it always has been. I try to eat kind of similar to your diet of like whole foods. I try to eat as many whole foods as I can. It's not, my diet's not perfect, but I just try to eat real food. I try to, I'm a firm believer that the only way you can know what is in your food is if you make it yourself. So I think everybody should cook for themselves. And it should be, it should be like this process of like gathering your food or hunting if you can. And preparing that food, right? There's so many benefits to that. And then when you're eating your food, right? Just enjoying that whole process. I think
being in the moment, kind of
be in the moment, be present.
The kind of the delayed gratification aspect of it, as in like, I think it's I practice this a lot. Is like when I cook my food, I'm not picking or the entire time, because the moment I'm done, I clean up everything, and then I have it in front of me, and it makes you enjoy the moment so much more.
It gives you that short term pleasure, right? Release, that's good for help you out in the long term with consistency.
Not only is nutrition better, like great in like seeing results, I'm a firm believer it's great for your mental.
Of course. I know you're about like the 80-20, right? 80% nutrition, 20% fitness,
which I'll live by.
And I think like we both have a lot of similarities with how we've arrived at how serious we take our nutrition. Because me, like I've dealt with epilepsy for a lot of my life. I had some grand mal seizures. Didn't really know why. But I went to some neurologists, through insurance, right? And they did some tests and said, hey, you have epilepsy. Here's Depakote. Here's medication. Take that. Period.
And that's it. You just kept coming back if you took them, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you take Depakote, which is not great for long. There are side effects. Not great for long-term mental health. And you just keep taking that, right? And it's like that's their answer. And I started doing a lot of research on my own and found out that something towards a ketogenic diet, or at least like limiting your simple carbohydrates first thing in the morning, has been a way that people have treated epilepsy for hundreds of years.
Wow.
So I started trying that out and got to the point where, and stopped drinking alcohol. Got to the point where I didn't need to take any medication and have my epilepsy completely under control.
Yeah, I know.
So that's how I arrived at like the seriousness of nutrition. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. Obviously there are different forms of epilepsy.
Yeah.
And maybe, medication is definitely necessary for some people.
No,
For
sure.
Mine was a little more mild.
Yeah.
And so
but it's like you see,
when
you see the results in yourself, you're sold by it, right? Immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's like kind of like how you think. It's like, regardless of your specific, physical imbalance that you're dealing with, look into nutrition.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a nutritionist, but that should be incorporated in everybody that's dealing with some type of setback.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like if anybody who struggles with mental health, if I would love. I mean, there's definitely studies out there, I'm sure, but like I would love to see it in front of my eyes. With like, if you maybe just prioritize all organic, natural, whole foods for 2 weeks, and see kind of at the end of the 2 weeks, like see what the kind of differences or how you feel. Because for me, I mean, I've definitely struggled with mental health a lot, and I had surgery last summer, right? For my Crohn's disease, because I was drinking alcohol at the time. Right before that, I had a very average American diet, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And then after surgery, I worked with a nutritionist. I had 8 inches of my small intestines removed.
Wow.
And obviously, I lost 25 pounds.
Yeah.
And within 2 months, I was able to, after with prioritizing nutrition and the right foods put in my body, I was really able to put it back pretty much.
You were working with a nutritionist for that?
Yeah, I worked with one for 6 months. I just stopped about last month.
Was your nutritionist like your insurance?
No,
like cash based.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I have some clients that I would like to refer to a nutritionist.
Yeah.
So I need somebody in network, or I don't know, maybe out of network, just somebody that I can send people to. I'm just looking for.
I have a few names. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it.
I think that's something I want to start doing more with my clients. Is like having like really good. I already have like some good cash based physical therapists to send people to when they're kind of like when I can't fix everything, but nutritionist would be a great thing to do next.
No, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it'd be hard to say because the ones that I've worked with they specialize in IBD and Crohn's.
Yeah, sure, okay, yeah.
But I'm sure that they definitely know everything. Like they have a PhD and Masters in Nutrition and all that kind of stuff. Sure. So I'm sure that they definitely. No, now that I think of it, they definitely have clients that aren't just Crohn's or IBD based. Cool. So yeah, that's definitely cool. But yeah, I mean, I'd say not only is my mental gotten better, I saw results in the gym quicker. Okay. Recovery is better.
Just by eating like organic whole foods.
Yeah, just organic whole foods. Yeah. And
it's amazing.
One of the fastest things that was like super cool to me was when I go to bed, I'd put my head on the pillow and I'm out within 5 minutes maybe. And then
it's improve your sleep.
Improve my sleep, amazing. And I wake up maybe once to go to the bathroom out through the night, but like I wake up at 5 every morning, and I'd say 95% of the time I can jump up and start my day with a clear mind.
So you wake up in the middle of the night every night to pee?
Yeah, it's just because I drink a lot of water.
What if you adjusted your hydration timing so that you could maybe sleep through the night? Have you tried that?
No, I haven't. But yeah, I believe it.
That's something that I like realized when I think it was when I was at the Citadel. Is like I gotta chug. I would drink a full Nalgene before I went to sleep. I thought that was like the best way to hydrate.
Yeah, when I was a sophomore in college, I used to chug a gallon of water a day, and then realized that was very bad.
And then you're just waking up in the middle of the night, peeing every single night, disrupting your REM sleep.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Which, as we know, is a huge thing. Sleep is crazy for you. We'll keep that in there.
Hey, plumbers can handstand too.
Plumbers can handstand too. What is one of the biggest myths in the fitness?
One of the biggest myths?
What's the biggest myths in fitness?
Wow. Interesting question. The biggest myths in fitness. I would say people that think that they need to bulk and cut.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say biggest myth, but like, that can be effective.
Or the dirty bulk.
The dirty bulk. I mean, like you really don't need to. I would say it is easier to gain weight if you're using mass gainer and just eating anything that's in front of your face.
Yeah.
But for long-term health, it might be better to just be at like a slight or good amount of a calorie excess, eating like more meat
Hmm.
and carbs and whatnot that are from real food
Yeah.
than just like eating McDonald's every day and then cutting.
Yeah.
I think it's would be healthier to just get short or gain weight consistently, right? By being in a calorie surplus
Yeah.
consistently
Yeah.
while you load the joints more with
Mhm.
more compound movements to gain weight
Mhm.
than gaining a bunch of weight and then cutting.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a very healthy
Yeah.
long term.
It's not.
It's
It
effective if you are an athlete and transitioning between
Yeah.
playing football in season and then wrestling in the other season.
Mhm.
That would be a time when you
Yeah.
should bulk and cut. But I would say like for the majority of people, just be if you want to lose weight, be at a calorie deficit while eating whole foods long
Mhm.
term. If you want to gain weight, be in a calorie surplus while eating whole foods long term.
Yeah. No, that makes so much sense. Necessarily, do you think like cutting and bulking like has an effect on hormonal balances or
I,
your
I, I
your metabolism?
probably I'm not really a professional. That's not my I'm not an expert on that.
Yeah, well, we're here for
But I
your opinion.
yeah, not an expert on that, but I do think that would have an effect. I
Mhm.
think it can be beneficial to do like a long term bulk where like in a surplus for long term and then do some form of like a month long cutting. Maybe that could be
Yeah.
effective for some
Do
people.
you
Yeah.
do you have any experience with fasting? Do you know much about fasting?
Yeah, I've done a lot of that before. Yeah.
What's your viewpoint on fasting or
I,
intermittent
I,
fasting?
I personally love it. I think a lot of people um, think that they need to eat constantly throughout the day,
Mhm.
just because they get addicted to that. Especially if they eat a lot of carbohydrates, then
Yeah.
their blood sugar spikes, and they need to keep feeding the beast
Mhm.
of their gut that's craving sugar and
Yeah.
carbohydrates. But I think it's not only like can it be beneficial physically, but I think it's also a great mental practice to fast.
Yeah.
And like for me personally, like when I practice yoga in the mornings, I like to do that on an empty stomach.
Mhm.
So sometimes if I'm practicing at noon, I just won't eat anything
Yeah.
until after that.
Yeah.
And I feel great. My body
You
is
do.
used to that by now. I really like that. It might take somebody that's doing fasting for the first time. It might take a little while to get used to it, but
So like
I think it's a great practice for everybody to
yeah,
experience.
because I think a very like misled
Yeah.
topic is fasting, and it's just I being in college and seeing kids my age.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are just like, "Oh, I want to lose weight."
And then they'll
I've heard,
just
yeah, I've
not
heard,
eat anything.
yeah, but they're just like, I've heard so much benefits of fasting, but they'll just
Yeah.
like do a 3 day fast, or like a random
Yeah.
person who
Yeah.
maybe isn't an athlete or anything, or just like hop into it because, but like necessarily, I think that just like can cause like if you don't do it properly, then I think it
Yeah.
can cause
Just
some
going into
issues.
the extreme.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
cutting food
I
immediately.
think.
But
Yeah.
then
I
they're
think.
also like they don't get it because they
Yeah.
also will drink a Gatorade throughout the day.
Yeah. That
Like
wouldn't
it's
be
just
fasting.
yeah.
That wouldn't be fasting.
I've because I'm saying
Yeah.
that because I've seen it before.
Yeah.
So
Of course. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think like just I would say like to try out a fast. Really, what I do is I'll do like a 24-hour fast sometime. Like if I and I'll do that like maybe if I'm starting to feel sick or something like that, or just if I need like a reset, mentally or physically. Usually it's mentally.
Yeah.
Just go 24 hours without eating,
Yeah.
and then break the fast with
Maybe give your stomach a break.
give your stomach a break,
Yeah.
little reset button.
Yeah.
There's a lot of benefits to that, and then break the fast with like real good whole foods.
Yeah, man. Maybe like a steak, some
And
eggs, some
you
avocado.
appreciate it. Maybe something a little lighter than that, like bone broth or something.
Okay.
But I do love steak and eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty optimal after a chest day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you fast at all?
So I used to, but for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
psychologically.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I just feel like
Nothing that can
something
be.
I struggled with a lot was comparison, and now I've kind of realized the
Yeah.
comparison is the greatest thief of joy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so I'd see like stuff on the internet, Joe Rogan fast, Dana White saying how great he feels, and necessarily do it, but it was just more of like a lot of like struggle and pushing through, and I don't think I was doing it for the right reasons. I think I was just doing it to like cut quick weight,
Hmm.
and definitely a hot
I
topic
like
right
it.
now. You know,
Well, people like to eat, and people like to eat
yeah,
their simple carbohydrates. And when you eat a lot of simple carbohydrates, your body's going to want to crave those every couple hours or so. So
Yeah.
I understand it.
Hey, man,
Fasting is
whole natural whole
not an
foods.
easy thing to do.
So just stick to all natural whole foods, and you don't gotta worry about it. Because
It's
sometimes
probably your best bet.
you know, what's funny is like my girlfriend, like we make dinner a lot, and you know, most times I end up finishing up her plate, but
Yeah.
it's just like the other day too. Like I don't track or anything, and I'd say sometimes I hit like 4,000 calories. Some days I hit 2,500. Some days
Sure.
I might hit 5,000.
Yeah.
I go back for seconds and everything, but I eat all natural whole foods, and
Yeah.
the way that I just prioritize my health, my body, and
Yeah.
you know, I work out in the gym, and
Mhm.
it's almost like I just keep gaining leaner muscle at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And my metabolism is just fixed right now. I just think a huge thing that people complain about is like the expense to it. You know.
The expense to eating all natural whole foods.
Yeah, a lot of people just tell me it's a lot more expensive. Like I've had a few people say like,
Yeah, so it's not.
yeah, no, it's
And
not.
the reason why it's not is because you're when you buy your food and you make it yourself, that's cheaper than buying it at a restaurant.
Yeah, I mean,
But also, like,
yeah,
people think that like Whole Foods is really expensive or Earth Fare is really expensive. They're buying the packaged stuff there. If you just buy the all natural Whole Foods from these
exactly.
places, the
You
produce,
just gotta know how to shop.
yeah, make
Some
a
people know how to
list,
shop.
make a list, and stick to that list. Um, that's the way to do it, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
it
just
kind of
buy the
clicked. Yeah, it
ingredients.
clicked to me the other day
Yeah.
when someone said like, so how do I do it without spending like $400 or it's so
You buy the
expensive?
ingredients.
Yeah, but they're like it's so expensive to eat healthier. But I'm like, I think you're just eating cheap, not
Yeah.
necessarily we eating more.
Well,
But at the same time, it's like
stop going out to eat.
stop going out to eat. Stop spending so much money at the bars because
Yeah,
your
yeah,
$20 cover is
yeah. That adds up.
my whole day of food. You know.
Well, it's yeah. When you start to like look at your budget and how much
Yeah.
you're spending on things, and you reprioritize that to help yourself in the long term, you realize that it isn't crazy to pay for a gym membership.
Yeah.
It isn't crazy to spend the $200
Yeah.
on the all natural Whole Foods
Exactly.
or less. I mean, you could do
Yeah.
that. You could go to Aldi
Yeah.
and get your week's worth of grocery
Mhm.
for $30.
Exactly.
Even less.
Yeah.
Really, there's a way to do this.
I mean,
You
if
buy a
you're as long as
25-pound bag of rice.
yeah.
Get your meat from Aldi,
Yeah.
or really anywhere.
Costco.
Harris Teeter, my favorite Costco,
Yeah.
and it becomes $50 a week to eat all natural Whole
Yeah.
Foods or less.
Yeah. No, it's great as long as you're not like overeating. And
Just make a plan.
make a plan.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it is. I think people just get the whole like wrong talk about it. And another thing is like like you look at these gym memberships around here, and I remember last year I took a break from coming to the gym here for a little bit just to try out Ethos, the one down the road, which is nice.
It's a great gym.
Yeah, I was paying.
Yeah.
It's a great gym. I was paying $150 a month. It has a ton of amenities, right?
Yeah.
But at that time, I wasn't drinking. I wasn't going out, and everyone was like, "Holy cow, you're going to Ethos like $150 a month? Like that's wicked for a gym membership." Well, they have a sauna, they have cold plunges, they have all the proper equipment, they have a smoothie bar and everything. And
Yeah.
in my eyes, instead of ruining my body with a couple $100 a weekend on drinks, I'm spending $150 a month to prioritize my health and my body and my mind.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I love that you've arrived at that because a lot of people don't, and I've thought this way for a long time. It's like it's for your health. Like you should be willing to spend the money on your health, right? Like it really isn't that crazy, even if it's like $300 a month.
Yeah.
Thinking about this in a more practical, objective standpoint, that really is not crazy to spend your money on your health and wellness like that. If you're going to the gym every day, even once a week, you're going to benefit from that. So why not spend some money on it if you enjoy that? Man, I love what we're doing here at Big Work. There's a lot of other good gyms too. Drake Fitness is a
I've
good
heard of
one.
that. I
Yeah,
haven't checked it
they're
out.
great, man. It's David Drake and Nick Papa.
Wow.
They're fantastic kettlebell instructors.
So is it kettlebell based?
For the most part, yeah. That's kind of like their bread and butter is kettlebell.
Okay. So they believe in a lot more like functional training.
That's their thing is functional training. Kettlebells. Nick's starting to get into the rope flow, rotational movement training like myself. So we kind of nerd out on that, but it's good to see it. It's kind of like really just two places in Charleston where you have a lot of rotational movement training, more functional training happening, and I see it a lot. Drake Fitness and Big Work Fitness Factory. Yeah. There's other places that are catching on too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
I mean,
Charleston's a great place for fitness and gyms.
yeah,
Really.
it is. I mean, you got the sun, great weather, especially like once it starts hitting this time, March.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess all we're trying to say overall is like it's not expensive to prioritize eat right, to prioritize your body and mind.
Yeah, just
Everyone thinks it is.
make it happen.
Make it
Also, I
happen.
mean, yeah, just choose what works for you. Maybe a gym membership isn't what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe going to the park and climbing a tree is what works for you.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to look at it.
Or go to a park and do some
Yeah.
pull-ups at the park.
Yeah.
That's free.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this up here. I don't know if we have a lot of time left, but last question: Is there any big plans maybe you got for big works coming soon?
Big
Yeah.
plans for this gym.
Yeah.
It's just kind of fixing the equipment and upgrading little by little, and taking care of our members. Right.
Yeah.
The equipment here is kind of the heart and soul of this gym. The equipment. Everybody comes here for the sunlight and equipment. So just making sure our equipment's up to date.
Yeah.
Switching things around. People like new things. So
Right on.
that's the plan. And then just being great. We have 3 great trainers here.
Yeah.
So we're just going to continue to be great and keep learning, trying new things.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this gym is like all based around just every day you're learning something new.
Yeah, I think we pride
Yeah.
ourselves on that here with the trainers here. We're coming to the gym every day to learn something new,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just constantly feeding off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so are the members.
Yeah.
So we love it.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for sitting down with me on my first episode.
Thanks for having
Pilley
me.
Talk.
Pilley Talk.
Zach. It's been an honor, and I love coming to Big Works. I love working out. Yeah. And with that being said, I wish you the best of luck and have a great day,
sir.
man.
Of
course.
Keep it going.